Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Moron vs. Fanboy. I'm your host, Lon Lopez.
And I'm Derek McCaw. We are two self-styled pop culture experts facing down the wrecking ball.
That's true, and you're not talking about Miley Cyrus's new single, are you?
No, because that was the old single.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
that was a good one.
Damn.
Yeah. Oh, look at you. You're
Derek
outmoded.
is
You've outlived your usefulness to the pop culture
You really
landscape.
are a pop culture, what'd you call it, stylist?
Pop culture expert.
Expert. Okay, I'm a pop culture stylist. I only do hair for pop culture. Anyways, we've got a lot to talk about. Tonight we're going to focus on primarily an issue a singular issue, let's say. Usually on our shows we kind of bounce around, talk about different things. But tonight we're going to talk about something that's important to us. We
Absolutely.
As pop culture stylists, we do talk about stylists, experts?
No, experts.
As a stylist, I like to talk about...
As two jerks who just like to talk.
That's true. We can't get enough of our own voices. We go to movies. We like watching movies.
Absolutely.
We love talking about movies. We like to talk about upcoming movies. We like to make movies. We like to make naked movies. I mean, we do tons of stuff with the movies.
No.
So, what we're going to talk about tonight is it's a local issue for us, but if you're not...
I think it has a more universal issue to it.
And I think if you're watching and you're not from the area, you still want to pay attention because this is an issue that would face anyone in a suburban kind of situation or whatever. I mean... modernization and growth is something that affects everyone, correct?
Right.
Thank you. And I seemed really smart when I said that. Mm-hmm. Anyways, we're talking this week.
I like that cue card. That was great.
Thank you.
Well written, Dave.
Little higher. Thank you.
Yeah.
Modernization and growth. No, the next one. Thank you. Okay. All right. So this week, San Jose had some sad news, and we're broadcasting in San Jose right now. So California, San Jose, Silicon Valley, as we like to call it.
Yeah, there you go. It's true.
And this week, the news came about that one of my personal, I don't want to speak for you, but I know it's one of your faves too, one of our favorite local movie theaters, the Century Theaters in San Jose, the Domes, as they're being affectionately called now, are being shut down. They shut down last night. Last night was their last performance. Now, Derek, you were actually there in attendance.
I went to, the... Century 21 had been, I guess, occasionally showing regular movies, and then a group called the Retro Dome, who, full disclosure, Scott and Shannon Guggenheim, who run that, I've known for many, many years in the community. They were doing kind of like a revival house thing. So they were showing first-run movies, and then occasionally they'd have events where, you could come and enjoy an old movie. And so they did the last showing on the Century 21 last night of Raiders of the Lost Ark. Okay,
so they were basically then kind of sending it out with it kind of like a remembrance or... Yeah,
they were doing a series of what they called like quote-along movies. And so
there's a picture there of the outside of the dome.
Yeah, right? So they were giving... That was the last night it was lit up. Last night.
Sad.
So they were planning to continue a series of... They were going to have The Princess Bride next week, and I forget what else they were going to go through. And they said, but then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were informed, no, March 30th was going to be it. So it was kind of sudden on the part of the development company.
Yeah, so what's the issue then? Why are they closing?
Well, it's money. The Winchester family... Ironically, we just crossed the street with the Winchester Mystery House.
Let's explain the area too. Why?
Sure. All right. This is these domes were built about 50 years ago, and originally at a different time in film presentation. Century 21 in particular was built to show what they called Cinerama, which was a much wider experience because, of course, when television came about, it was a little square, and so they were like, make the movies bigger and bigger.
Right.
So Cinerama was like 3 ordinary screens put together.
Okay.
It was kind of a few movies like How the West Was Won, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, so forth, classics of the 60s. And so they had these domes were built, and they were on land owned by the Winchester family, who owns the Winchester Mystery House,
which is directly adjacent to the land.
Right. And if you're not familiar with that, it's this alleged haunted mansion.
It's probably San Jose's biggest landmark. Right?
It probably is.
Okay.
It definitely. I don't know if it's the only thing in San Jose that's been declared an historical landmark, but it is the first.
The most well-known.
The most well-known, definitely, and kind of internationally known. So they owned the land. They'd leased to the Sayufi family to build these domes. There's a parking lot, a huge parking lot, and what used to be a Bob's Big Boy, which is also one passing from the scene. Now it's currently a Flames. Anyway, I guess as of today, the lease expired, and so they instead of renewing with the Sayufi family, they gave a new 99-year contract to 99-year contract to Heritage. I think it's Heritage Development or something. A development company. I don't want to misquote.
They sound evil. No, I'm kidding.
I don't want
to.
I don't want to misidentify, misquote. But to a development company that believes that what the land could better be used for is a kind of a combination of housing and shopping.
Right, and let's also explain. Not only is it adjacent to the Winchester Mystery House, it's right across the street from the newly developed gigantic Santana Row shopping center,
which had formerly been the Town and Country, which was more of a prosaic. It was a nice, smaller one, and there was a fantastic movie theater in there too.
Yeah.
That got torn down.
But Santana Row is making money, and
I'll assume so. It always seems busy. I don't go there.
So the land, and we have to speak on the land too. It's like you said, the parking lot is huge. The domes occupy, and we have to understand though too. Before the multiplex kind of movie going...
Oh, in the heyday of those theaters,
right,
that parking lot was not adequate.
Right, and we're talking thousands of spots probably, right? At least a couple hundred?
Well, we're very bad at counting, but considering that the 21 alone held 956 seats.
Okay.
So, we're talking close to 1,000.
We're talking
I would
a
imagine
huge
you'd
lot.
probably have to do 1,000 because you had 3 in the Century 22.
Right. So we're talking like with the 23 that's in the corner.
Yeah.
You're talking what? There's 5 actual screens showing movies. So on a weekend, that place you'd have to drive around the block, drive around the corner looking for spots. There'd be lines around.
But let's talk history, not just that. Why this is news and tragic? Not only because San Jose locals all grew up watching them, but these theaters were like Century 22 was one of I think 37 theaters that Star Wars opened in 1977.
And sorry to cut you off, but one of the things like San Jose, and you probably are aware of this, San Jose became known for...
We were the 8th largest movie market in the country.
So we were starting to come up, and like Hollywood was starting to recognize this market as a movie-going...
George Lucas and Steven Spielberg both loved these Century theaters and loved sneaking their movies there.
Right.
And I can remember when Raiders of the Lost Ark opened, the week before, there was the poster, without identifying what it was, saying, you can come Saturday night, the week before it opened, at 8 o'clock, to see Steven Spielberg and George Lucas's latest film.
Right.
Now, some people were aware of it, but this is a different time too. You didn't have the internet telling you these movies were coming. So I can remember a couple of my friends who were really keyed into Hollywood in high school. They went to see it, and then on Monday they're all blah blah blah. So I took the bus down to see it opening day, and first showing. And so seeing it last night was just this it was kind of a full circle thing. I saw it in Century 21 opening, and that is. I also hadn't seen the movie in about 20 years in its entirety, and I'm like, damn, that's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Now, the thing that's interesting, though, about the loss of this is that San Jose, at least in my personal experience, and full disclosure, I have made a documentary about how the city has taken away some culture.
Rock the Block, it's an amazing documentary.
Stop.
I say that sincerely. I don't blow smoke up your butt.
But the truth is like, so you have now, and I feel like I'm having deja vu. You have here these theaters that have now, basically it's kind of like, hey, we established you as the 8th largest market. You guys are now known as a movie town. And now it's like, well, we don't need you anymore. Out of here, So it's just kind of one of those where it's like, this is how we treat our culture. Dave, can you pull up the shot of the Winchester of the what do they call those? The marquees. So driving down Winchester, you see this every day. Okay. Especially Battle LA.
It's an old shot. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. Like driving down Winchester, I'm not going to see these anymore. Like, and this was as a kid. I remember driving by, going, "Ooh, what's playing? What's and this
and
is
what's
before,
that movie?
right.
Yeah,
and what's
can I know that?
coming?
Yeah.
And it's like that just creates this allure for a movie goer to drive by this and to see
last
this.
night pre-show, they just did all these slides from the '60s of shots of
All the
Fiddler
different
on
films,
Roof,
yeah.
Sound of Music,
Right.
and it was just fantastic just to see. I mean, I think Dave also has a shot of the letter that was in the window of Century 22 last night, and it really got to me seeing it. Dave Tapia sent me this photo of this letter that was saying, we knew when your family, when you were mourning, people were coming. It's like, it's community. And I wrote an article on Fanboy Planet about it saying that's the thing is you can build a mall and people will go into little shops. And yes, everybody will go to whatever they call it, Winchester Row or whatever they call it. But it's not a community. There's no space in there where 1,000 people sit together and watch a movie and share that same experience.
Right, exactly.
And that's not the same thing. We don't have enough of those things anymore.
Right. To bring people together.
And to take one away, it really actually got to me. It just, and I had.
Well, some would argue, the outdoor concert series at Santana Row brings people together and their dogs.
Have you gone to one of their outdoor concerts?
It's cheesy and lame. But
you can only fit 60, 70 people to listen to it.
Yeah, and it's by some kind of cookie cutter artist who's not really that great. No offense to any of my friends that have played there. Anyways.
And you played there, right?
No, I haven't
I
actually.
have.
So.
I have.
Really?
Yeah. Comedy Sports has.
No offense.
But
no,
none comprehended.
Yeah. So, but I mean, memories wise, I mean, yeah, you're saying Star Wars screen. It's like I remember being, 5-year-old watching Star Wars. I think we saw it at the 22. It might have been when it came around again or something. I don't know, but. I remember
Star Wars the 22, yeah.
The first time my mother ever let us camp overnight for something was the first Batman film.
I even took my daughter, she was 2 months old, to see The Phantom Menace there. I took all my nieces and nephews to see the digitally restored Star Wars.
How about the Phantom Menace, people were like that?
Not that I liked The Phantom Menace, but it was still.
But did you go to that where it was like a whole camp of people there, and it was craziness.
It was great. It was a community.
It was a total community. Lines around the corner, and people I wish Tapia was here because he had a little tent there, and he was telling all these stories about.
Right?
Well, he actually wasn't living anywhere, but so it was fantastic to. Oh, here we go. Here's the old school. Look at that, The Godfather,
there it is. And A Clockwork Orange, and Fiddler on the Roof. I mean,
all classics. That's like having the Stones, the Beatles, and Tiny Tim playing at your show, your rock concert.
Well, I can't see what 22 had underneath there.
I don't know. It looks like
Connection. The Last Picture Show.
Yes.
Actually, my God, that's an amazing. Look at that. Those movies are all incredible.
Yeah.
They really are.
And it's all in one lot right there for your viewing
amazing
pleasure.
Year. What an amazing year that was.
Yeah. So they're gone. And there's petitions online to save them.
Save the Domes.
Do we have a link or something we can tell people? I think it's just Google Save the Domes.
Oh, please. It's all over the place. Yeah, just Google Save the Domes. And there's still time for at least 21 to be designated a historical landmark.
But what did you tell us earlier? You said...
But today they've already, the Sayufi, or actually I guess now the Century Company, whatever it is, Sayufi family is taking out the seats, and that the development company has said that they have no intention, even if it becomes a historical landmark, to keep it in use as a theater.
Right.
But I think it become kind of a multi-purpose event center, and it's somewhat of the same feeling. It could be.
But
you could
even
occasionally show movies, as the Retrodome people were doing with the Century 25 until that was torn down.
Sure, but I mean, if you're not going to use it for movies, what's the point? Just go ahead and put something else there, and we'll have our memories and all.
Well, and I think
here we go. We got the Facebook page.
Oh, great!
Save the Dome, so you can sign up to get it for.
Hey, I'm right there. Look at
this. It's me and you, right there.
Hey, we're friends.
Hey, I guess we did. We are men of our conviction. We are signed up on this. So, Anyways, but yeah, so
that's nice to have that proof right there.
it is, yeah. So it's end of an era. A local San Jose once again is losing another piece of its culture, and nobody seems to care.
And about the movie-going experience, which
Right,
would
which
lead us to our versus segment.
it will. You know what? Let's just go right there to our next segment, the movie-going experience. We will talk about more in our versus segment. I didn't have time to cue it up because Derek jumped the gun.
I'm sorry.
And went for it. But you know what? I'm proud of you, Derek, because that shows initiative. Derek really hit me. He's punching me. But yeah, let's talk about that, Derek, because, okay, we lose the domes, but what's the point of saving them? Why save a giant movie a giant movie theater when we've got AMC, we've got the Mercado that's just 2-3 miles away, and it's got 20 screens, Derek, and it's got a giant food court, and it's got one of those cool soda machines where it's over 10,000 combinations of soda.
I'm going to grant you that's an amazing.
That is fucking awesome, right? That's great.
It's like, because I like getting my vanilla Coke Zero.
Yummy.
But that's.
Pardon my French, by the way.
Well, what's that fake IMAX screen? What's the size of it?
It's like simulated IMAX, but it's not.
Yeah, but
real.
it's not the full. I mean, but what I mean is the size. When you lose Century 21, which I think was a 170-foot screen.
And you could see true 70 millimeter there, right?
Yeah,
or something like that.
which
yeah.
they showed last night. Raiders of the Lost Ark. They dug up an old 70 millimeter print. It was fantastic.
Right, which means nothing to the new generation.
You're right, because it's all digital projection.
Yeah.
It's all digital projection, and but I think if you go home and you have your 70-inch television screens coming into affordability,
which my brother does own.
Does he?
Yeah.
Is that it? Wow.
I think it's 70-inch.
And you're sitting in your living room. That's amazing, and I think that's one of the things that's changed it, and the sense of community. I will admit, freely, you go to a movie and there's some idiot on a phone, and sometimes I'm that idiot. I can't tell you.
There's people talking.
How many times I've gone to where somebody takes a phone call and says, yeah, or people sneak in and they don't really have anything invested in it, and nobody respects movies the way we do, which, to me is this thing. It's like, if I'm going to go see a movie, I want everybody to have a good time, but I don't want that good time to impinge on mine. It's
Right.
like, I'm there to enjoy.
You know what my biggest pet peeve of those is? And this would happen in any movie theater. But, but the long opening wrapper right behind me at a crucial moment. Yeah, that whole, and the name of the killer is... And I'm like, dude, open your Kit Kat before the reveal, okay?
And so, which they used to say that, like, if you have any candies, unwrap them.
They used to do that?
At live theater, they said if you have
wow.
cough drops or anything, you must unwrap your candies before the performance begins.
I just remember we were watching The Dark Knight at one of the Mercado or one of the AMCs, and it was like one of these tense scenes where like the Joker's like doing his psychological thing on him, and just this person behind me was trying to rip open the cheese from his nachos or whatever. It just
eat that cheese later.
Yeah,
eat that cheese later.
I'm all the Joker's on screen.
But here's the thing, so last night, Raiders of the Lost Ark was supposed to be a quote along. And so they gave us this little fun pack.
Oh,
and we had
joy.
We had a little plastic snake, and we had a little a sour punch straw that was supposed to be so you could be the natives going in the darts at, and a date and all this kind of little things that were so we all go yay and say things. And so I was like, oh, I didn't know it was a quote along. I just wanted to go see it. But I'll tell you, once that movie started, the respect. None of the things that they said that they gave us stuff to do for quote-alongs happened at all.
Great. That's great.
Everybody was just totally
we just want to enjoy
this
last movie.
Caught up in that movie, and so that gave me hope. I was like, see, people do want to come and they do want to just.
But let's also talk, since this is our versus segment. Let's talk about how easy it is now to catch movies in your home, in your living room. Netflix now is making it so easy to just kind of,
Well, even video on demand.
Yeah, video on demand. But streaming is kind of the way of the future now. And it's like, just this weekend, we ended up watching The Wolf of Wall Street on demand, and we had a pleasant experience,
A movie that I am actually in is video on demand at the same time as theatrical. Sparks. I'm just going to
Wait a minute, Derek.
Yes,
You're
I know.
in a movie?
3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
I'm in a couple of movies, but that's the one I talk about.
Oh, okay. Well, remember we talked earlier about the...
Rock the Block. No, that's a good one.
Okay.
Rock the Block should have gotten
Gotcha.
distribution as a documentary.
No, but so, yeah. So, the argument could be that maybe the domes aren't worth saving because not enough people are going to see movies anymore because it's so easy to just watch them on your iPad, watch them on the computer, watch them at home.
I'd still rather go to a theater. I would rather see things with people.
True. And you're at kind of, I don't want to say a disadvantage, but maybe bias because you actually are a movie reviewer for the site.
Right.
So you are, I guess, pertain, not the word, but you are allowed to basically see movies on a weekly basis as part of your job, in a sense.
Occasionally. I mean, I haven't seen as many as I used to because, well, a lot of screens are on Monday nights, and we shoot on Monday, so I don't do that anymore.
But to the average person, think of it this way, too. What's a standard ticket price these days? $10.75, $11? So
probably $11, $12,
$12, and then if it's 3D, you're talking $14, $15. You take a date, you take your family.
Well, I take my kids, and we go in the morning in AMC. We go to the early showing,
so now we're
it's
talking
$7 a piece.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, if you're responsible about it, but say
but it's still expensive. I know it does get pricey.
So and then you talk about a large drink, a popcorn. You're spending $40-$50 to go see. A half-hour to 3-hour movie.
But if I have a big TV at home and I do the VOD, and the VOD is like
$5, yeah.
Is it $5?
Okay. Depending.
Yeah.
So it's
and everybody in the family can watch that, and you usually have it for 24 hours, so you could probably watch it.
Right, and you don't have to sneak in, Milk Duds to your living room because, nobody's going to bust you.
I do, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody is going to. I don't like to talk about it.
You don't want people to take your Milk Duds. I get it. I get it. I understand.
Ugh.
But, so I would say that the movie-going experience has changed, and maybe just the next generation doesn't want an old theater. People like their new stuff. People like their flashy, cool, whatever. I can almost see in the future we're going to have YouTube theaters, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, where movies are only 5 minutes or less. You know what I mean? You go to, it'll be AMC's 300.
Okay,
300 screens,
but
and you just walk in.
But the sigh of disgust from our producer, Dave.
That's true.
Does help me believe, because he's like, what are you, like 16? Dave
is a grown-ass man, okay?
But you're 26. Okay, so Dave's really in that first generation that's grown up being in the total YouTube
but
arena.
Dave's a connoisseur of fine films.
So what I'm saying is connoisseurs will always exist. There will always be a place for the Revival House, I hope.
But connoisseur also equals minority, right?
Well, it also, freakish loner, but still.
I did not say that.
But we're all here bound by our freakish lonership.
That's true.
And so I hope there will always be a place where we can gather.
But you know what's funny is, I remember coming up as a film lover, in San Jose, we, like I said, 8th largest market or whatever it has been. We are fortunate to, not only did we have the Century Domes.
We had Cinema 150.
We had Cinema 150 on the El Camino, beautiful theater. We had the Meridian Quad on Stevens Creek.
Which was a great place for the
discount movies.
I want to say the dumber movies because
the lower.
Because the things I saw there were like, "Can I do it till I need glasses?" It was a sketch comedy thing.
Oh,
it was like,
a Kentucky Fried Movie? Or something?
Like a Kentucky Fried Movie. And you see Kentucky Fried Movie there, you wouldn't see that at the Century.
We also had
see horror films, fantastic.
We had the camera movies. We had the Hacienda. Remember the Hacienda in Sunnyvale?
Loved the Hacienda.
We had the Jose on 2nd Street.
I never went to the Jose.
Yeah, I was old school. We had, and then the ones on the Alameda, the Town Theater.
The Town, yeah.
It was just, I remember as a teenager going to the Town, and Town was at that point a revival theater, I think owned by the Cameras, at that point. But, I would go see the Sick and Twisted Film Fest there at midnight.
Mike and Spike's or
Spike and Mike's. We'd see the Hong Kong cinema over there that they were filming. I mean, there was all this opportunity for film lovers to come and see it in a large theater.
And piece by piece, and this is my problem, piece by piece, San Jose has dismantled those things.
I mean, and the thing is you go to San Francisco, and there's still all these old theaters intact. People have repurposed them, cleaned them up.
We could go to San Francisco then, right? That's easy, right?
No, it's not. It's 45 minutes away. So, and San Jose wanting to share that market money with San Francisco, trying to compete, bringing the Niners down here, bringing all the sports teams down here. If I can
say the other thing is,
but yet they get rid of all their cool stuff.
If we have time, you can tell me. But we
got like 2 minutes.
Okay, so a few weeks ago at CineQuest, Harry Knowles from Austin at Ain't It Cool News was in town, and he and I sat down and talked. And one of the things is Austin's number 11. We're number 10. San Jose as far as population. And the thing is, Austin realized any cool news started at a time. But they have held on to their heritage, and it's becoming a thriving art scene.
Mm-hmm.
Not just movies, but music.
South by Southwest.
And art. South by Southwest is down there. San Jose could do it, but San Jose keeps putting... It's just whatever it takes. It won't do to support its art scene unless art stays safe. Well, art's not going to stay safe.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got
and it's not about art, it's about commerce.
And you've got to feed everybody in
Right.
their interest, and that's I don't know.
Right.
I just see that there's so many opportunities that they keep throwing away, and don't tear down a theater like that. Let the Retro Dome operate and make it a revival house, and we'll have fun.
Because if not, we're all just going to be little hermits and hobbits that stay in our houses. We never go out. We never, interact with each other.
Oh,
and
it's starting to sound good.
And it's going to be the end of days. There you go. We had it. Anyways, we need to move on. Century Domes, we're going to miss you. I miss you already. Your sweet, tender caress. But let's go find out who is our Geek of the Week this week. Kick it, boys. Oh, sorry. Rudy was getting the gas out of his chest, and it made me think of Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Anyways, in keeping with the movie theme this week, our Geek of the Week has a big blockbuster coming out at the end of this week, which by the time you're watching this, it'll probably already be up. But
And I'm so super excited.
I cannot wait.
Night.
And I have been avoiding all commercials and everything else.
Did you watch the first 10 minutes they posted?
No, I want to go in fresh,
All right.
as George Costanza says. But basically, our Geek of the Week this week had an interview. I'm not going to reveal just yet. Had an interview where he sounds they took a quote. I think it was like a Vanity Fair interview or something,
I think so.
where he basically says after his movie contracts are done, he's going to retire from acting. Our Geek of the Week this week is Chris Evans. Roll the tape, boys. Chris Evans, star of...
Look at that.
Look at that American hero.
Star-Spangled Hunk.
Star of Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and the First Avenger, and Avengers, and Johnny Storm.
Yes. And The Losers is another DC Vertigo.
And What's Your Number, if anybody saw that. It was a great,
didn't see that.
horrible Anna Faris movie. But anyways, so Chris Evans in an interview this week talks about how pretty much he's... he's not
He
really...
wants to direct.
He wants to direct, but it's more because he hasn't gotten recognized for the good roles he did. He was bummed that one of his most proud roles was in Danny Boyle's Sunshine, which he said nobody saw. And he did some other smaller independent films where he's like actually kind of proud of his acting, but he's it sounds like he's almost embarrassed of all his different roles that he did because they're all big high profile.
With one exception, because I think that when you and I were at the opening of Captain America: The First Avenger at Comic-Con and he introduced it, he said he was proudest of that over any other movie he'd ever made.
But then again, he was doing press.
No, I understand that, but he still said that in other updating on the Vanity Fair interview, he has said he does love being Captain America.
That's true.
And that's the contract that will expire. He has a 6-picture deal. He's gotten 3. He's got 3 more. And we say, Chris, you're a fantastic Captain America. Re-up. Re-enlist.
Well, that's the thing. And the only point I wanted to make with Chris is that the reason everybody's talking about Captain America, this next movie, they say it's awesome, it's getting great reviews, it's going to be a hit. It's because of you, Chris. It's because you are a great actor. You pull off the role of Steve Rogers really, really, really well, and we're happy and proud of your success. So keep it up. Anyways, that's all the time we have for this week, Derek.
There we go.
We got to go. So all you people out there, thanks for watching. I'm Lon Lopez from MoronLife.com.
I'm Derek McCaw from FanboyPlanet.com. You can reach us at Twitter.
Damn it, Rudy, you had it. He had it and he lost it.
Oh, at Fanboy Planet.
And you can find us on Twitter at MoronLife. Follow us, check out our sites, join our Facebook pages so you can keep up with the latest, greatest news on Moron versus Fanboy. That's our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. We will see you next time. Good night. So anyway.